For the heck of it, I watched the Cuphead show, and I thought it was good, but it's a throwback to 30s animation, making it hard to judge as contemporary kids programming. Because it was an homage to the golden age of animation, I felt it was a complete retread that didn't justify its own existence. And then I thought, well, what's actually been new in cartoons? And the most recent thing I could think of is the whole tournament format with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! But that was over 20 years ago. So Laura, have you noticed anything that feels like a fresh trend in cartoons in the last decade?
The only thing I can notice relates to PBS because that's that's what I've been watching because of my son. The PBS cartoons now, while they're educational, are more careful into how they are inclusive. They are very careful in talking about actual issues. One of the shows that we actually love to watch called Molly of Denali, and she's indigenous to Alaska. In one of the episodes, they talk about racism and how tourists, whenever they come to Alaska, don't necessarily respect the Inuits or the culture there. And they show research that they can do to combat racism. They talked on that show about environmental issues, the ice caps and glaciers receding, and the effect that it has on the local economy. One of our other favorite shows, The Wild Kratts, which is actually pretty cute, talks about people hunting endangered animals, using them for fashion, consuming them in kid-friendly ways, but they do have those conversations that, again, I don't remember in the 90s being a big thing. In the 90s, I felt like a lot of cartoons were just more focused on fun. And a lot of the kids shows that I've seen now are educational, but fun.
PBS has always been pretty educational. Weren't they the ones that would air Magic School Bus?
I guess so. It's just, I think, a little bit different. Whereas before it was just PBS, and now a lot of the cartoons that I've seen come up that are really popular have that sort of tone. Number Blocks from Netflix or Storybots from Netflix. Disney Plus as well has a few shows like Bluey. They talk about real issues, but in a fun, imaginative way to capture kids' attention.
Sesame Street is still on, isn't it?
I do know, like, they have new characters and they have talked about things, but I think the point I'm trying to make is more that whereas before you could name what shows are definitely educational and fun, and there are some that stood out from each main channel or network, now it seems like almost everything that's being made has to have some of that included in there.
What do you think was the best trait of 90s cartoons?
The subversive humor. I say this as someone who believes in a lot of the things that are going on right now, but you just can't get away with things now, and people are too careful. And part of the love that I had for 90s cartoons is that you could say things and get away with stuff. It was just funny. I don't think that a lot of the things that were written in cartoons back then came from a place of malice. I think rewatching these cartoons made me see and believe in that a little bit more, that, you know what, they were just ridiculous cartoons sometimes, but some had a nice message, despite the jokes that were in there.